I was minutes away from a huge date when coffee splashed down my favorite white silk shirt. Panic set in. I grabbed the first stain remover I saw, scrubbed aggressively, and completely ruined the delicate fabric. Finding a stain remover that actually lifts tough spots without destroying your clothes feels like playing Russian roulette with your wardrobe. But after completely ruining that shirt, I spent months testing every major brand on the market to find out what actually works. Today, I'm ranking the top 7 stain removers, and the number 1 spot will completely change your laundry routine. 7. Clorox 2. Now, whenever you hear the word Clorox, you immediately think of heavy-duty bleaching power, so my expectations were naturally quite high for this color-safe alternative. I grabbed a bottle of the liquid stain remover and color booster, hoping it would be the holy grail for brightening up my dulling every day, while simultaneously knocking out the occasional lunch spill. I decided to test it on a variety of cotton t-shirts that had suffered from typical daily wear and tear. The premise of Clorox 2 is that it is formulated to keep clothes looking newer for longer while being completely safe for dark and bright colors. It boasts an active formula designed to penetrate fibers and lift away grime before a normal wash cycle. However, during my rigorous testing, I found its actual stain-removing capabilities to be incredibly underwhelming. When I applied it directly to a fresh olive oil splatter on a light blue shirt, the thick liquid just seemed to sit on the surface without breaking down the grease at all. Even after letting it soak for the recommended time and running it through a warm wash, the dark, oily shadow remained mocking me from the fabric. Applying the product is also a bit of a frustrating experience if you're in a rush. The liquid is quite viscous, which means it doesn't easily spread over a larger stained area unless you manually rub it in, which is exactly how you end up damaging delicate fibers in the first place. Furthermore, the scent is aggressively overpowering. It has that classic sharp chemical fragrance that clings to your clothes even after a full wash cycle, heavily masking the fresh smell of your actual laundry detergent. 6. Shout, wipe, and go. The concept here is brilliantly appealing for anyone with a busy, constantly moving lifestyle. These are individually packaged, textured wet wipes saturated with a proprietary stain-removing liquid designed specifically to live in your car console, your purse, or your office desk drawer. I took a handful of these with me on a week-long business trip, genuinely excited about the prospect of saving my outfits from the inevitable turbulence-induced coffee spills and quick lunch disasters on the road. The wipes themselves feature a microfiber-like texture that is supposed to help grab and lift the stain out of the garment while the cleaning solution chemically breaks it down. But in practical application, this texture design actually creates a massive problem. When you get a splatter of soy sauce or ketchup on your shirt and go in with this wipe, the natural instinct is to rub vigorously. The moisture from the wipe combined with the heavy friction frequently ends up just pushing the staining pigment deeper into the woven fibers of your clothing, essentially locking the disaster in place rather than pulling it out. My field tests yielded incredibly inconsistent results depending on the exact nature of the spill. If you catch a black coffee drip within literal seconds of it hitting a synthetic fabric, the wipe can usually absorb it reasonably well before it sets. But the moment you try to tackle anything oil-based, like a drop piece of French fry or salad dressing, the wipe merely smears the grease around, creating an even larger, albeit slightly lighter, stain on your chest. To make matters worse, the cleaning solution frequently leaves behind a very distinct, stiff water ring on your clothes once it finally dries, which looks almost as obvious as the original stain. 5. Wine away. Now we have a highly specialized product that completely blew my mind during testing. Wine away. Now, unlike the previous all-purpose cleaners, this product was formulated with one very specific, incredibly stubborn enemy in mind, and that is red wine. I have personally ruined more than my fair share of light-colored clothing and living room rugs during dinner parties. So I was incredibly eager to put this beautifully branded, sleek aluminum spray bottle to the ultimate test. I intentionally poured half a glass of deep, dark Cabernet Sauvignon directly onto a pure white cotton tablecloth and let it sit for a full 10 minutes to really sink in. When I sprayed wine away onto the crimson puddle, something almost magical happened. The formula, which is famously made from natural fruit and vegetable extracts without any harsh bleach or phosphates, reacted instantly with the spilled wine. Right before my eyes, the deep red stain began to neutralize, turning a grayish-blue color as the formula rapidly broke down the complex tannins and rich pigments in the wine. While its mastery over red wine is legendary, I was genuinely surprised by its remarkable versatility when I started experimenting outside of its intended purpose. I tested it on a few fresh blood stains from shaving Nick on a white collar, and it dissolved the proteins beautifully. I even tried it on a stubborn cranberry juice spill on a thick winter sweater, and it lifted it completely after a short 5-minute dwell time. The natural citrus scent is also incredibly refreshing, completely avoiding that harsh chemical odor that plagues so many other heavy-duty cleaning products on the market today. 4. Grandma's Secret Spot. When I first ordered this, I was genuinely skeptical about its capabilities. It comes in a tiny 2-ounce squeeze bottle that looks like it belongs in a hobby craft store rather than a modern laundry room. But after reading thousands of cult-like reviews online, I knew I had to push this highly concentrated formula to its absolute limits in my testing lab. The liquid formula is impressively thick, almost acting like a dense gel serum, which means a tiny little drop goes an incredibly long way. It claims to be completely free of chlorine, bleach, and harsh toxins, focusing instead on a heavily concentrated surfactant blend. I decided to give it the hardest test possible, an old, set-in bicycle grease stain on the cuff of a pair of khaki pants that had already been washed and dried twice. Normally, a stain that has been baked into the fabric by a hot dryer is considered a permanent death sentence for the garment. I applied just a single drop of Grandma's Secret Spot Remover, massaged it gently into the fibers with my index finger, and let it sit. The instructions strongly suggest giving it time to work, so I walked away for a full day before finally throwing the pants into a normal warm wash cycle. When I pulled those khakis out of the washing machine, I was genuinely speechless. The dark, black grease mark was completely obliterated, without any discoloration, fading, or damage to the underlying khaki fabric. It gently coaxed the deeply embedded oils out of the woven cotton with zero heavy scrubbing required. This unique product earns its highly respected number 4 ranking because of its sheer concentrated power and its miraculous ability to resurrect clothes you honestly thought were ruined forever. 3. Shout Advanced. While standard liquid shout is a decent everyday staple for minor issues, this advanced gel version completely rewrites the rules of home laundry pretreatment. I specifically sought this out after a particularly muddy weekend hiking trip left my heavy denim jeans caked in a terrible mixture of ground-in dirt, wet clay, and stubborn green grass stains right at the knees. The pure brilliance of this product lies in its unique physical design combined with its thickened formula. The plastic bottle comes equipped with a built-in, textured scrubbing brush right on the applicator cap. This clever design allows you to squeeze the thick, concentrated gel directly onto the fabric and immediately work it deep into the woven fibers using the flexible rubberized bristles. Unlike standard thin liquids that just pool on the surface and run off onto the floor, this gel clings aggressively to the stain, ensuring that the active cleaning agents stay exactly where they are needed most without dripping away. But the absolute best feature, and the reason it performs so incredibly well in my testing, is the set and forget capability. The specialized formulation is designed so that you can treat a stain and leave it sitting for up to a full week before actually washing the garment. This is a massive game changer for normal, busy households. When I dropped pizza grease on my favorite shirt on a Tuesday night, I scrubbed it quickly with the Shout Advanced, tossed it in the hamper, and didn't wash it until Sunday morning. The stain came out flawlessly, and the gel never once dried out or damaged the delicate fabric during that long waiting period. Shout Advanced firmly secures the number 3 position because it is an absolute relentless workhorse for heavy, everyday family laundry. 2. Puracy Stain Remover. I have always been deeply skeptical of natural, plant-based cleaning products. In my previous experience, they usually smell fantastic but severely lack the heavy chemical muscle required to actually get the difficult jobs done. I bought this bottle fully expecting it to fail my heavy-duty tests, but I was proven spectacularly wrong almost immediately. The real secret behind Puracy's incredible performance is its complex, highly engineered 6-enzyme formula. Instead of relying on harsh, toxic chemical solvents, it uses a concentrated blend of naturally derived plant-based enzymes that actively digest different types of organic matter. I put it up against a horrifying mixture of smashed blueberries and messy baby formula on a delicate cotton onesie. I sprayed the clear liquid, worked it in lightly, and just watched. The enzymes literally began to eat away at the natural sugars and heavy proteins in the stain, breaking them apart at a microscopic level before the garment ever touched the washing machine. What makes this product truly exceptional, however, is what it completely leaves out of the bottle. There are absolutely no sulfates, no artificial perfumes, no hidden dyes, and no chlorine. It is completely odorless and entirely safe for sensitive skin, making it an absolute must-have for parents dealing with endless baby blowouts or children struggling with severe eczema. Yet, despite being gentle enough to use safely on bare skin, it aggressively powers through dark chocolate, yellow sweat rings, and dry blood with a ruthless efficiency that puts heavily toxic competitors to absolute shame. Puracy earns its elite placement because it completely destroys the old myth that you absolutely need harsh, dangerous chemicals to achieve professional-level cleaning results. 1. OxiClean Max Force. If you're tired of playing endless guessing games with your laundry, tired of soaking things overnight in the sink only to be disappointed, and tired of throwing away expensive clothing because of a single dinner accident, this is the product that will permanently solve your problems. I now buy this spray in bulk, and it has fundamentally changed how I view damaged, heavily soiled clothing. The pure magic of OxiClean Max Force lies in its highly aggressive 5-in-1 chemical complex. It doesn't just target one specific type of stain. It brings an entire army of amylase, protease, and specialized binding polymers right to the battlefield. I subjected this spray to the ultimate laundry torture test, a white cotton t-shirt stained with a horrific mixture of dried balsamic vinaigrette, black mechanical grease, and crushed blackberries. This is exactly the kind of nightmare combination that usually requires 3 different specialized chemical solvents to remove. I simply sprayed the Max Force, letting the slightly foaming blue liquid deeply coat the disaster area. The application process is incredibly straightforward and surprisingly satisfying to execute. The heavy-duty spray nozzle delivers a thick, even coat that immediately grips the fabric tightly, without soaking entirely through to the back. Like the Shout Advanced, you can safely treat a garment and let it sit forgotten in the hamper for up to a full week, which gives those powerful 5 active agents plenty of critical time to chemically break down complex molecular bonds. When I finally washed that heavily soiled white t-shirt, it emerged from the washing machine looking blindingly white, completely pristine, and absolutely free of any residual dark shadows or yellow grease rings. Ultra. That's all for today, folks.